Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Kisu. First of all, I'm sorry that this video is a bit late. I've been really sick. I think you can hear that from my voice right now. But I finally had some time to edit my video. And in this video, we will solder a few watches and this coffin amethyst together. So let's get started. I've also received a lot of questions, a lot of comments, and a lot of custom orders actually. So thank you so much. And in this video, I try not to cut anything so that you can watch the whole process. So first of all, before doing anything else, you have to make sure that this surface is very clean. Like, try not to touch it a lot. Because otherwise I've heard that a lot of people have some problems with it being not being completely stuck to the surface. And this is a copper foil that I use. Again, I've heard that some people have issues with this one. However, try to buy a good brand. Because if you buy a good brand, it will stuck properly. But again, make sure that the surface is completely clean. Otherwise, it won't get stuck completely and it will create some issues. Like I've heard that some people do completely fine with the soldering, and after a few days, it just comes off somehow. I think I did have this problem once, and it was the time that I didn't completely clean the surface. So since then, I've been just making sure to clean it properly, and I never had any issues after that. Here in this stage, make sure that this copper foil is everywhere. So I didn't like it here, and then again. And we will burnish the copper foil later, so here right now it's not that important. And once you're done with the copper foil, you can use like a tweezers. You can use like an agate burnishing tool, something like that. You can even use like a spoon, you just have to burnish it very, very well. Make sure that this is completely burnished through the surface, and that there are no like spaces between the foil and the surface. Otherwise, the same issue will happen again. It might come off after a while. Like, I'm literally talking a few days. So make sure that this is all fine. Here, before burnishing everything, I'm just making sure that this copper foil is covering all the places that I want, because sometimes it might not be enough and I might add some. Once I'm sure that it's everywhere, I will start burnishing it. Here I thought this bit is a bit like sticking out, so I will cut it and make sure that it looks all fine. Now I'm getting rid of the excess. This bit here doesn't really have to be like perfect. Just make sure that everything's fine afterwards, because once we solder it, it won't be that visible. And also, once we burnish, we can still kind of make it move a little bit, so it's fine. So I got my tweezers again, burnishing it. The corners, especially, the most important bit is the corners always. Make sure that they're always completely fine. And yeah, this one is pretty much done. After this, I will start with copper foil in the amethyst. And here we go. Now, I've also got a few questions about soldering stuff like stones, like crystals. And as long as the crystal or the stone can, like, I don't know, like, as long as you can touch it with some heat, it's all fine. An amethyst is a good one for this one. I never had any issues with it, like, I never cracked an amethyst or a stainless steel watch. Obviously, if you touch the glass part, it will crack, but it will crack completely, almost immediately. Here I'm just making sure, because like I'm just making sure that it looks all good. I'm making sure that once I burnish it, it'll all look good, because it'll be quite visible. And even though I can fix a few little issues with the burnishing tool, I still need to make this one good, because I don't want a very textured soldering around this one. Because I want to make like very spiky but neat looking piece here. And here again, I'm doing the same thing, burnishing it, making it all flat, making sure that the corners are completely fine. Again, corners are very, very important. The other areas are not that important, but what you can do with the other surfaces is that if you want the textured bits, make sure that they're not completely flat, but again, make sure the corners are completely fine. And this is almost done. And after this, I will use this watch. I've been getting a lot of custom orders for stuff like this lately, so I decided to make another one because I don't know, fun. We will do the exact same stuff again. Oh, I touched a few times. Nope, we're not using this one anymore. If you touch the copper foil a lot, make sure to change it, because obviously, like, again, this bit is very, very important for the future. And if you touch it a lot, obviously it won't be that sticky part. The sticky part won't be that good, so that's also really important. If you touch it a lot, just cut that piece and start again. some Yeah, some shapes are a bit difficult. So if your watch is like a circle one, round one, it's usually easier. But if it's like a square one like this one, it might take a little longer, but it's still fun. You can do it. Again, don't forget that we will fix the little bits when we burnish it, so it's all fine. Make sure not to touch the copper foil a lot. Make sure the corners are everywhere, like completely fine. Touching the surface, clean surface. And that's it. Yep. Now we're burnishing this and we're good to go. Again, because this is like a square shape, I'm making sure that the corners are completely fine. Very important bit, corners. I also realized I had this one, and this is glass. I wasn't gonna do this, but a lot of people ask me questions about their materials like crystals, glass, shells, and everything. And people were, I don't know, like some people obviously don't know how this works, and they think that if they solder a watch, it won't work anymore, which is not the case at all. And I decided to solder this little glass vial, something. I really like memorial stuff, so I thought this could be like a really affordable, cute little piece. And yeah, I decided to solder the neck of this bottle. It's like a star, and I will make it like spiky. So we're doing this. The important thing is, since this is glass and transparent, we have to make sure that it looks good before we finish everything. Like normally with watches and crystals and other stuff, it's not that important, but this is transparent, so try to make sure that it looks good when you do this copper foil. Otherwise, it just won't look good. And you can't really fix it because you'll be able to see from every single angle. So just make sure that looks good. But here I already burnished the neck, so it's all fine. Cutting this bit now because I touched it. Now with the corners, again we can do the corners with when we burnish it, so it's not that important. Just make sure that the shape is nice. And again, we can fix the little things when we burnish. And as you can see here, when I burnish it, it takes the shape of the material, so it looks like a star again. And it looks so fine. And we are ready to go. Let's start with the next step. So the first thing is flax. I got a lot of questions about this. I'm literally just using an unbranded version of liquid flax from Amazon. I got like 3 bottles before and I finished 2 of them. You can obviously use like paste version. I never tried it before, and I just find the liquid version much easier to use for myself. Obviously, if you like the paste, go for it. I don't think there's a difference, and if anything, I think the liquid is just easier with this kind of stuff. It's just faster. Um, yeah, just make sure that you cover the whole copper piece in flux. It doesn't really matter if you use it for the other stuff like the glass. It doesn't really work because you won't be able to solder on them. And to be able to make your solder like flow on your copper, just make sure that this goes to every single bit on the foil. And you can apply again and again, so it's fine. But realistically, you really only need to just do it once. And after that, you're good to go. So here, make sure that the whole copper is, yeah, covered in this flax. And obviously, if you use a paste, the same thing applies here. And again, you can clean it. I mean, you have to clean it afterwards once you're done with soldering. So it doesn't matter if it gets to other places. Like here, you can see that I don't really care about it that much. I'm just covering it, just making sure that it's everywhere. And yep, that's it. And obviously the solder, as long as it's lead free, it's completely fine. Some people ask me about the diameters, how thick it is. The thing is, oh, and before that, glasses, obviously, and the mask. Make sure, and a certain iron. Okay, I'm starting here, but before I start, let me tell you about how important the mask is. The fumes are not good for your health, so make sure to use a mask all the time, even if you're working for like 5 minutes or something. And I think 5 minutes is a lot anyway. Personally, I have a migraine, and if I use it, like if I inhale the fumes more than like 10 seconds, it triggers my migraine like crazy. So make sure to use a mask. And the glasses, I mean, they're very optional, but sometimes, when you touch the solder and the sponge, it can be like harmful, like the fumes, and sometimes like the solder jumps. It didn't hurt me a lot, but it does hurt, so I just like to protect my eyes because I personally don't really care about my skin because it will heal, but my eyes obviously they won't heal. So yeah, here I will be soldering different watches and everything, crystals back to back. Just make sure to watch how I'm doing it because I've seen people doing some different stuff. I've seen people asking me about like the diameters and everything. The thickness of a solder doesn't really matter. It's just the fact that like if you use a thick one, you will have more immediately. Doesn't matter. I started with the thin ones because I thought I would just give it a go, and I kept doing it. So, and I'm like really used to it now. It just doesn't really matter. And a lot of people ask me about the temperatures. Here you can see when I was just doing the surface, I was actually using a higher temperature, so at that time when I checked it, it was 360. But right now with the spikes, I had to change it a little bit. Right now it's 340, I think 42 to be exact. This is because when I do the surface, I don't need any textures or anything. And I can just, just use a solder, just make sure that it goes everywhere, blah, blah, blah. Um, but with the spikes, I needed the temperature to be a bit lower. But again, it also depends on the weather. So when I was doing this, the weather was a bit sunny, even though I don't really like it. So yeah, that was it. But sometimes if the weather is really, really hot, you might need like 350. And for the spikes, maybe you will need like 335 or something. So make sure to play with the temperatures and everything there. So here you can see. And again, normal obviously I edit the videos, but here I'm not editing anything. So you can see that sometimes I don't like the spikes, so I do again. To be able to remake the spike, you don't need another solder. You can literally just go to the spike, use your iron soldering rod just to give the shape again, like this. Um, I know I make it look easy now, but it's because I had so much practice over the months, hours. When I first started, I couldn't do the spikes at all. They were all really, really bad. I broke them all the time. But now I just got used to it, so I can just do it like this very easily. So just keep practicing. Again, watching this video, just keep watching how I make, like how I move it and everything. And also, you don't have to keep the watch or the material that you use in one place. You can move it, you can use the help of the gravity. It's there for a reason. Sometimes it just doesn't work, Sometimes you do it and the spikes are not really nice. You don't like the spikes, you don't like the location, you want to change everything. When I want to do that, I just literally use the gravity to help me. So that's another little trick that I find very, very useful. And as you can see, this is done. Obviously, we'll need to clean it and everything, but that's for another time. And next, this big skull watch. Obviously, the other one wasn't this big, so it was easier to make, but it's a different story with the big ones, like this one. And also, we will add some spikes to the inside with this one as well. Here I'm again going with the high temperature, and you can see the temperature. It's like 340. just giving it like a flat, nice, neat looking solder here first of all. Because once you're done with this, once you start with the spikes, you won't be able to change this bit, so make sure that you're happy with this. Obviously you can change your temperature and give more like texture to your watch here, but for this one I just wanted like a flat looking one. And after this I actually got a custom order for a beautiful watch. The client said that he wanted to make his own watch, but asked me to do the soldering part, obviously. And I was literally thrilled to make this one because it was a beautiful watch. It was like completely spiky, the whole band and everything. I will share a video of that one as well, but later, not in this video because it was after these watches. But basically, once you get the idea, you can do whatever you want, literally. And it's really fun. Here I'm making sure that this bit looks good. This bit is a bit tricky, but the thing is, these little like 3 button like things, they're just there. They don't really work or anything, so it's making my job a bit easier. And also like this watch, the glass is very like close, so obviously like make sure not to touch the glass with the tip of your soldering iron because it will crack it immediately. And I'm not talking about like a little crack. I mean, it won't explode, but you won't be able to use it or continue doing your thing anymore. And again with the textures, I'm just adding a bit more because I want like a nice and thick looking border for all of the soldering. Literally just because I want it to look that way. There's no real reason for that. But yeah, I just want to make it look a bit like thick there because I'll add the less spikes. And here we go. As you can see, you can't really touch the glass because if you touch the glass, the solder won't flow anymore. With the big one like this one, when the surface is really big, I make sure I use like the gravity for myself because it really helps. Here you can see that I'm making sure I'm not touching the glass because again the solder won't flow and I'll have to start again. And I didn't really like how small the spike here was, so I'm making again, like I'm adding more. So if you don't like a spike, you don't have to start from the beginning, you don't have to get rid of it, just add more and it'll be fine. Obviously this is again practice here. I used to get rid of it completely and then do it again and blah blah blah, but I got used to it. Another trick here is that if it's not working anymore, just work somewhere else, because it means that the foil is just way too hot now and you shouldn't work there a lot, because if you work there a lot, the sticky bits won't be that strong anymore. And sometimes you can even see the glue if you work at one point a lot. So just make sure to keep moving. You can always go back to the other bit that you didn't really like and fix it later. So here, this is what I'm doing. I like to just put some of the spikes around and then fix them later, because this way I know how it's gonna look. It gives me like a shape. I know how it's gonna look in the future. And look, we got a big long spike here, but it's too thin, so I will have to add some more here, but it's fine. And using the gravity again, just make sure not to touch the glass. And here I need some big spikes so you can see that I changed the temperature again slightly. Um, I mean, literally like changing a few degrees changes a lot, so just keep playing with the temperature. Okay, now I'm really happy with the spikes inside the big ones. Now I'll start with the small ones. Um, Sometimes they just don't work. So keep adding a few like soda bits. And if it doesn't work for some time, after a few tries, I literally just leave a little blob there just so that I can go back and fix it later. Because again, don't spend a lot of time in one place because that way it won't stick. Yeah, you can see the shape very clearly now. Again, I keep moving the watch. Some people don't. I just find it very easy this way because otherwise I feel like I'm working against the gravity. But instead, I can literally just use the gravity because don't forget that's your friend here. It literally helps you with the spikes. So I just keep moving the watch to make it easier for myself. Moving again. Last few spikes here. And fixing the hole with because I'll be done with this soon. Just making sure that I'm happy with all the spikes, and I went back for that spike specifically and fixed it. Now I'm thinking about adding a few spikes to the outside, but I don't want to make it really like spiky a lot. Because of these bits especially, so I don't want to make it look a lot. Even though this, I want to make it look a lot. I want to make it look like cheap or anything, if you know what I mean. So I'm just adding these little ones here because I decided to make the skull the center of the piece here. These spikes won't be too big because the watch itself is quite big, so I want to make it like comfortable. Because I know that since it's a big one, if I make the spikes really big as well, it just won't be really comfortable, and I have to keep that in my mind. And yeah, I think I'm happy with this now. Let's see. Yep, it looks good. It'll be comfortable to wear. Nice. Now with this little memorial piece, affordable, cute, nice. I like these things. Again, this is gonna be a bit different because this is glass. So if you're scared about certain glass pieces, just keep watching. When I use this, obviously I will use the heat. Like as you can see, it's a bit lower than usual, and I will keep it that way. Make sure that your like the tip of your rod is never touching the glass itself. Otherwise, again, it'll crack and you won't be able to fix it. Just keep moving it. And also, because this is glass, it's really important for a copper foil to be like taped around it really well. And the spikes. As you can see, if you taped it well, it won't be too difficult to do this because it's literally just a flat surface. You don't have to do a lot. Just make sure again that you're not touching the glass itself directly and you're gonna be fine. Just adding the spikes now. But be careful. Here you can see that sometimes I'm like touching it to that little thing, the heat map. Heat map? It's because sometimes I just want to use it from the very tip. But again, this is a bit more like advanced technique. Obviously you can do it, just make sure that you practice a little bit more before doing that. And here I didn't like this spike, fixing this. I will have to say that this is a bit advanced in general, not because of the taping and stuff, but because so like with watches it's obviously just one angle, right? But with this one, when I use the solder, it goes two ways. so it's a bit difficult. So I have to keep using like a lower temperature here. A lower temperature also means that you can move the solder that easily. So here you can see that I have to fix the spikes a few times before I'm happy with them. But this same technique, you'll have to use this one for if you wanna solder the band of the watch. It's exactly the same, literally. So what I like to do is I first leave some blobs before turning them into spikes, and I leave them for a few seconds alone. And then I turn them into spikes. I use a bit more solder here, as you can see. So if you watch my whole process, you'll understand. Explain is a bit difficult, but watching it, you'll understand it. Here, I'm adding some spikes to the neck now. And I'm almost done. And I think this is very cute. You can put, I don't know, like hair, blood, little bits, sand. Yeah, I like it. It's cute. It's not heavy. It'll be really comfortable because the spikes are in one piece, so when you wear it as a necklace or something, it won't touch your skin at all. So yeah, making these things comfortable is a bit tricky, but you get used to it. And I also do file them a little bit once they're completely done. Not a lot, just to make sure that the very spiky bits are not that spiky. Oh, and lastly, I almost forgot to add this jump ring as a bail because obviously it's gonna be a necklace. So I'm just adding this one. What I did was basically just adding this jump ring and basically like taping it with tape. And that's basically it. And I'm just setting it. Like I won't do anything, I will just set it around it and that's it. But obviously it's a bit tricky because I want it to look neat and nice. So I'm making sure that I get to all of those little corners without touching the glass with the tip of my soldering iron. It's a bit tricky, but it's fine. And this coffin amethyst. Now, there are some tips and tricks to doing this because obviously the solder is very easy here because it's a flat surface. I don't have to do a lot. I'm literally just putting the solder. I decided to use a higher temperature because I just changed it from the glass, so I don't have to stick to the lower temperatures. And here, don't forget the back cover as well. And once this is done, we will get started with the spikes. But if you can remember from the glass one, this will be a little bit difficult, so try to use gravity to help yourself. So very important thing here, just like with the glass, if you touch the crystal with your solder, it will stop flowing. So my little trick for you is that you should always go a bit like above it and then move it like this. You will have to practice this a bit. It's not that easy, but it's also not too difficult. It's just that you need to get used to it. If you get used to it, it'll be fine. But here you can see that I'm not touching the crystal at all. If I touch the crystal, nothing's gonna happen to the crystal. It's just that I won't be able to flow the solder and give it the shape that I want. So here, taking a bit more, getting it to the tip. Oh, drop the crystal. But as you can see, everything's still fine. Again, because we did the burnishing all fine and everything, so it's fine. I did drop some of my pieces, and honestly, I don't really feel bad about it because I'm like, oh yeah, nothing's happened, so it'll be fine. So yeah, keep going, don't touch the crystal, because if you touch the crystal it won't flow, just like this, because I just touched the crystal, so I have to start again. But this bit is getting a bit too hot now. I might have to move if I can't do it now, but I did it, I guess. Yep. And before finishing it, I decided that a few little spikes to the outside. And this bit is again a bit tricky because remember we still have foil around it, so if I can't do the spike at once, it'll go there because it's flowing. So I try to just make it like this, and you're gonna be fine. And I almost forgot about the bale. Unlike the glass one, I'll just make it here. I won't use a jump ring, but I will just make my own bale here with soldering. Um, oops. I actually didn't think much about it at first. And I think this is the wrong angle. and I realized that I'm changing it now. So yeah, you can make your own veil with your soldering. Just this is a bit tricky because when you touch another soldered piece with your iron, obviously it flows. So I don't know how to explain that bit. It's really just practice. Once you get used to it, you can do it. But as you can see here, I didn't cut anything or edit anything. You can just watch how I'm doing it. Obviously it's not too easy, but you can do it. So obviously if my piece is not glass or anything, just do it like this. And yeah. And that's it, we did it. I'm just thinking if I should add the little spike to the end, but then I thought people won't be able to see anyway. Oop, I dropped it again. It's really hot right now, so you really don't want to touch it with your bare hands. Just make sure you use like a pliers or something. And I'm just making sure that it looks all like neat and nice. Just finishing. But yeah, this is it. As you can hear, my voice is still gone. I've been sick for the last 2 weeks. I'm trying to recover, but it's taking just too long. I just didn't want to make y'all wait anymore because I've been getting a lot of messages and I get it. So I just decided to do this voiceover. So that you can watch it. Obviously, you can always ask me your questions and everything. So thank you all so much. Hopefully in my next video my voice will be back and I won't sound like this anymore because I can't even recognize myself anymore. And here's the watch that I was talking about. I just did the soldering around it obviously, and this is the finished watch.